Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradesman Experience. This is the podcast built by tradesmen for tradesmen. My name is Josh, and Happy New Year. What does that mean? Look, I'm not somebody that gets wrapped up in the new year, new me thing. I don't really fall into the whole resolutions category. But I wanted to talk about it a little bit today from the angle of mindset, through the perspective lens of mindset, because I think that's where a lot of us make the mistakes. And I'm just going to share some of my opinions and things that I've learned. But first, I got to tell you about the boot camp. Guys, the new boot camp kicks off January 15th. The last day to register is January 14th. After that, you can't enroll until the next boot camp, which is months away. So you've got to get in there. If you want to start this year off correctly, you've got to get into the boot camp. And I know for a lot of you, historically, this is a slower time of year. This is the best time to invest because you're not going to do it when you're busy because you say, I don't have the time. And you don't like to do it when you're slow because you say, well, I don't have the money. You've got to make a choice here. And I'm telling you, the right choice is to get enrolled in something that is going to make you better, going to make your business better, going to make your team better, going to make your clients better. And if you really want that frontline, that ground level tactics of business and leadership, the Blue Collar Bootcamp is it. That opens up so many more opportunities for you in coaching and learning in the community that we have. We've got the GSDMF private Facebook group. There's just a lot involved, and you're going to get a lot out of it. So you've got to get over to the website, thetradesmanexperience.com, get signed up. Just click the link. It'll take you there. Get signed up, get enrolled. And if you hate it, if you don't like it, fucking tell me. I'll give you your money back. I don't care. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to help you become successful. All right. Now, as learning goes, I think it's common to pick up new words, new phrases, new thoughts, new tactics, new strategies. And something that I have picked up recently from multiple different angles of people that I learned from, Cody Sanchez, Bedros Keuilian, mental masturbation is this term that has been showing up a lot lately. So I wanted to share it with you, and I want to talk about it with you because I think it's so accurate, and I think it's so relevant. And I think going back to the whole new year, new me resolution, I'm going to do better in 2025. I think that mental masturbation is really the culprit. I think this is where we make the mistake. And I think that we've got to be able to recognize it. So I just want to share some of that with you today and talk about what that is. And oh, fuck, what is it? It's it's mentally jerking off to things that you want. I mean, let's just face it. I try not to sugarcoat a lot on here, and I try to be authentic, but that's what it is. You're pleasuring yourself mentally about the things that you want to do, the things that you want to have, the things that you want to become. And once you bust that mental nut, you've lost ambition. You've lost drive. You've lost the motivation to chase it. And I think this concept of mental masturbation is very addictive. I will tell you that I am absolutely guilty of this. Absolutely guilty of this. One of the things that I'm guilty of, and for me, is dream casting. And this is one of the things I've got notes. If you're watching this, you see me looking down. I had notes for this one today. Dream casting, and more importantly, dream changing. I'm not a fan of verbal dreamers. They have idea diarrhea, and they've always got the new idea, and they've always got this thing that they're going to do, and they're always going to start this business, go to the gym, start this relationship, do better, do better, do better, and they never do. And what they want is they want your validation to make them feel better. They're looking for someone to jump in. I'm really going to fuck this episode up with a bunch of references, but they're looking for a double Dutch rudder, right, of their idea. They're looking for you to jump in and grab a hold and help them with this act of mental masturbation. So Dream casting, that was something that I got carried away with early on because I wanted big things. And as I became impatient, I went the opposite direction and I stopped dreaming altogether. I'll be honest, I went celibate with the whole dreaming, and I don't think that's healthy either. But I think dream changing is one of the identifiers, one of the symptoms of this. Another one is scrolling. And I know people get really defensive about social media because they just claim and justify the time that they spend, and the average person spends 3 hours a day on social media, 3 hours a day scrolling on social media. And I say social media, that's YouTube, Facebook, and I'm not talking about learning. I am not talking about learning, I'm talking about scrolling. I'm talking about wasting time. I'm talking about setting on the shitter for an extra 10 minutes because you're looking through Instagram pictures. I'm talking about scrolling. And what that does is back into the concept of this mental masturbation. You're just massaging this dopamine, this addiction, and you're massaging your mindset, your ego, your own narrative to not do the things that you know that you need to do. You know that you need to eat better. You know that you need to cut out or slow down on drinking. You know that you need to introduce some level of physical and mental exercise into your life. You know that you need to have the difficult and right conversations with your spouse and with your family. You know that you need to do these things. And all of those things are hard, by the way. They're all hard. They're all the hardest part of my day, right? My alarm goes off at 3:40 a.m. so I can get to the gym at 4:15. And every morning I'm like, "Oh my god, I would just like to turn that off, curl up." By the way, Katie's already up, so I'm not curling up again next to her. She's already up and on her way to the gym. But just curl up under the nice warm blankets and go back to sleep. It sucks. It's hard. But what is more difficult is sitting there going, "Man, I need to get my shit together." And you start talking to people and again you have this idea diarrhea and you start claiming all of these improvements and changes that you're going to make because you're just massaging your ego, you're massaging your bitch voice, you're massaging your narrative that you'll start tomorrow. And I have that written down here in quotes. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow is a very dangerous method of mental masturbation. It's very dangerous. I'll start tomorrow. All you're telling me is that I'm procrastinating because I don't want to put in the effort. And you can get pissed if you want, and you can come up with all of the excuses that you want. But the truth is, you're making a decision. And at the end of the day, you either did or you didn't. There's no middle ground. There's nothing to negotiate. There's nothing to discuss here. You either did or you didn't. And when you don't do it, and then you say you're going to, and then say you're going to, and say you're going to, again, you're just jerking off your ego. You're just jerking off this bitch voice that you have that's keeping you soft, that's keeping you weak, that's keeping you down, that's keeping you from success, that's keeping you from all of these things. You've got to recognize that you've given your power away to these other things. And I don't want to even call them addictions. They're influences in your life. And you've given yourself away to that. And I am speaking from experience, I'm not preaching from a pedestal of perfection. I'm preaching from a place, I'm speaking to you from a place of experience, of being captured by this thing, being captured by this mental masturbation, being captured by dream casting and dream changing, right? Being captured by scrolling. Here's another one. This one's dangerous. I'm treading in some dangerous waters here. Promiscuous behavior. Texting the people that you don't need to be texting about things that you don't need to be texting them about. That is mental masturbation. There is to me, I think this is probably the greatest one, if not it's one of the greatest examples of this, because you get all of those internal chemical reactions to that doing the thing that you know you shouldn't be doing, and then you're getting the feedback, so it's the justification, and it just empowers you to continue this behavior that is ultimately destructive. By the way, there's a shelf life on that. There is a shelf life, and eventually it goes off in your face. But you've got to be aware of that. And again, if you're looking at some of these things that I've discussed so far, you have to ask the question behind the question. And the front question is what am I doing? The question behind the question is why am I doing this? Why am I behaving this way? Why is this the story that I tell myself? Why is this my narrative? Why is this my justification? Why is this my action to this thing? And it's so easy to fall into that path of justification and again this whole mental jerking off here, um, that you just end up on this hamster wheel. And it takes a lot to get off of it. I will tell you again, you've got to have people in your life that's going to call you out, that's going to call you on your bullshit. And when you get called out, how you react will tell me everything that I would need to know about your level of emotional maturity and the integrity and quality of you as a human being. I'm not saying you can't make mistakes. What I'm saying is you can't intentionally make the mistake and then get pissed when you get caught. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have to be intentional about the decisions that you're making and the energy that you're pouring into these different things. And if you're constantly distracting yourself with the stuff that I've talked about, um, you're just, I think you're waiting to get caught. I think you're waiting to get caught. And when you do this, when you put yourself in the situation, you are now the prey. All right. And I know I'm taking a left turn here, but you can't not pretend to be a victim here, but you are prey. You have turned yourself into prey. You are no longer the predator. You are no longer the top of the food chain. You are the prey. You're fucking weak. And you're going to get taken out. And when you get caught and you scream and cry like a victim, well, that's your true color. That's your true person. That's your true mindset. And and again, it's easy to now to bring this back. It's easy to get wrapped up in this concept of mental masturbation to distract you and blind you from the reality. Again, I want to remind you here, I'm speaking from experience. I'm sharing this with you from a place of love and care because I want you to be successful and I want you to win. I want you to have things. I want you to have great relationships. I want you to be able to do these. I want you to be the person that you deserve to be. I don't want you to get wrapped up and caught up in this bullshit. So another example, because I'm going to give you guys some more examples here. Then another example that I want to give you is winning the lottery. Now, I'm not saying don't play the lottery. I don't give a shit if you play the lottery or not. My grandfather played the lottery, I think, since it began until he was sick enough not to play anymore. I got nothing against it. What I have something against is that being your ticket. When I win the lottery, and then the win changes to if, in this playing all of this kind of thing, it's a great example again of mental masturbation. You're not fucking doing anything to make a difference. You're hoping on a chance of luck that everything changes. That is not a recipe for success. That's not a recipe for better relationships. That's not a recipe for a healthier mindset. And by the way, this is mindset. And that's why I wanted to kick this year off with this particular podcast, is because I want to talk about mindset. So having the lotto dream, again, that's mental masturbation. And whatever it is, the scratch offs, the gambling, the buying the tickets, the playing your numbers, whatever it is, I don't really care. It all falls into one thing. It's fun. If you do it for fun, I don't have a problem with that. But when you do it as your ticket to success, uh, I don't know what the odds are. I didn't do any research for this, so I don't know what the odds of winning are, but you need to pick a better path. You need to pick a better recipe and find better ingredients to have a better result. Now to switch it a little bit because that's the kind of the stuff that distracts us. The scrolling, the dream changing, the promiscuous behavior, the lotto dream, the excuse that I'll start tomorrow. I want to switch that up because there's a positive. Positive is not the right word. What do I want to? I'm trying to think of a better word for this, but there's a misperception of positivity, and that misperception is podcasts and books. Like when you read something, when you listen to a podcast like this, or you read a book, and it inspires you and it fires you up and it gets you excited about doing that thing, and now you feel, I'm going to use air quotes, now you feel motivated. Okay, you feel motivated, and then you don't do anything. You're addicted to the feeling of the mental masturbation. You can read all of the books that you want on business and success. You can listen to all the podcasts and go to all the conferences about leadership. You can do all of these things to learn and to feed yourself. But once you start learning beyond your action, it's mental masturbation. And for me, this was a huge, huge area that I have fallen into this. Not the only one, okay, but it was a big one that I wanted to know more. I wanted to have that sense of knowledge, that sense of knowing, to be equipped with that information because that fed my ego. It still feeds my ego. I am very addicted to learning, and I'm very addicted to this concept of mental masturbation in personal growth and leadership in business. I will be the first to admit that. I learn way more than I implement, and that's why one of the big things for me is focusing more on implementation and intensity and action. But having that positive misconception can turn into mental masturbation, and you think that you're learning, and the reality is you're stalling, you're procrastinating, analysis paralysis, if you will. Whatever the excuse is, it makes you feel good to learn more. It makes us feel good to be smart. It makes us feel good to know that we know. And when you get that motivation, and I think this is interesting too, and this is something that I've picked up in learning about this topic a little bit, is I think motivation is another word for mental masturbation, because when you have those endorphins and you get excited, your body is and mind is expecting action. And then the motivation goes away and you don't do anything. Congratulations again. You 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 busted the nut on your motivation and your dream and the results that you want. And then nothing changes. Nothing changes. One of my favorite quotes is you can't complain about the results you didn't get for the work that you didn't do. And I think the people that would be upset by that are the people that get wrapped up and trapped in this. I think those would be the people that enjoy pleasuring themselves mentally and emotionally through all of this stuff, and then not doing anything about it except complaining. This is very seductive, by the way. The whole concept, the everything that we're talking about, this is very seductive. That's why it's easy to fall into this trap. It's easy to be seduced by the things that we want without taking action because there's no hard effort. We just get, again, we get the dopamine hit from it, and there's no hard effort. But I want to change it a little bit here as I'm getting close to wrapping this up, because there's things that we do also in business, and there's things that we do as business owners and business leaders. And one, this is the most popular that I have seen. So I'm not stating a statistic here. This is based on my own observation. I think the m- uh, number one mental masturbation problem in business is the need to solve every problem. And as business owners and as business leaders, and as someone, myself included, someone that prides themselves in knowing and having the answers and being able to give commands and get shit done and move people and create results. Um, oh man, it feels good when I can give the answer. It's amazing when I know and when I want people to come to me for that answer. Yes, they're just stroking my ego. And I'm letting everybody come in and just stroke my ego here. I think that's a big one in business. And if we step back and really pay attention to how many problems we're solving that we don't need to be solving. Now, if you are a single owner operator, this applies to you as well. And the reason I say that is you may be sitting there and say, "Well, I don't have a team, so I have to solve all the problems." Yeah, you do have to solve all the problems. And if you're complaining about that, then you're the problem. That plain and simple. Like you're the problem. Well, I can't find good help. Nobody wants to work for you. That's what you're telling me. Nobody wants to work for you. There's people working, doing your job, your thing somewhere. Well, not around here. Well, maybe somebody wants to move. Does anyone know? What are you offering? So, and I'm not going down that rabbit hole but my point is when we start looking at doing this and we want to be able the one to solve the problem, when that starts to dry up, we start to create chaos. We will purposely create problems that we know that we can solve just so we feel good about it. Just so we can get that feeling, that sensation of being the one, of knowing, of having that responsibility and that authority to do that thing. So you've got to look at your behaviors in business as well and identify what is it that you're creating to stimulate this. What is it that you're doing intentionally, maybe even if it's subconsciously? What is it that you're doing to create this? Just because it makes you feel good. You cannot grow in your comfort zone. And if all of the problems that you're involved in or that you're creating fuel your comfort zone, then you're suffocating your success. So you just need to be careful of that. And it's something that I just kind of wanted to bring to light here. Um, and to kind of close this up, because I don't want to keep saying the words mental masturbation. And if you've stuck with me this long, I appreciate it. What really wanted to do here in this conversation is create awareness. Is I wanted to create some provoking thoughts here. I wanted to challenge you in what you're doing. And again, what better time than right now? As of this recording, it's January 2nd. What better time than right now to challenge you to do what the fuck you said you were going to do? What better time than right now than challenge you to stop doing the bullshit that you don't need to be doing? You're either making results or making excuses. You've got to fucking choose. You've got to pick. And one of the things that I shared in our mastermind, because we have monthly masterminds, is that you should have a 1 or 2 word mantra that's going to keep you in line. That's going to feed you, fuel you, help you adjust your mindset. I will tell you that mine is intensity. The mantra that I chose for the first 90 days of this year is intensity. And I think with intensity, you have to be intentional. You can't be intense if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You can't walk around the gym without knowing what your next move is and have any level of intensity. So I think intentionality is a prerequisite, but in that intensity. And I'm sharing that with you because if you don't have something that you can hold yourself accountable to, you're going to fall into this trap. You're going to fall into this behavior that is just ends you just end up wasting time. You just end up wasting time because you can't redo yesterday. You can't redo last year. You can't. There is no redo button. And if you're avoiding those conversations and you are avoiding those actions and you're avoiding, let me just say it this way. If you're avoiding being truthful with yourself, you'll fucking lie to everybody else. Now, again, this really comes from a place of caring. I really, really care about you, and I care about you being the better version of yourself. And this isn't for everyone. I don't respond to, I don't reply to comments. Most of the time, they're 99.9% of the time, the comments that people leave me are awesome. They're encouraging. They're great. But you always get somebody that doesn't align or believe what we believe, and I think that's fine. And one of the posts I talked about um, the things that you need to focus on before you promote. And whatever the comment was, he was like, "Oh, if my boss ever asked me about how I speak with my wife, I'm out the door." And I'm like, that tells me so much about that individual that they're in a bad spot. They're not worried about growth. They're not worried about getting better. They're not worried about listening to stuff like this. They're stuck in this trap of mental masturbation, and they don't want anyone to catch them. Doors locked, lights off, nobody catch them doing it. And I'm not saying that as a boss you have to be intimately involved with your team's relationship, but if that's where you are, if I can't sit down and have a conversation with you about you, then I know you're fucking hiding something. I know that you are not confident in who you are. I know you're not confident in the decisions that you're making. I know that you need to fucking do better. So, happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. And if you're listening, we are getting some signups, and I'm greatly appreciate those of you that are signing up. But if you want to be a part of a group of people that are breaking down shit like this and are working to be better and don't want to get trapped in the rat race, you've got to sign up for the boot camp. You just need to go sign up for it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And you get to be around a group of get shit done motherfuckers that understand what you're going through and can help you deal with it. All right. So, guys, thank you for letting me rant about this. I hope you take some time to think about this and kind of reflect and start to really identify what you need to be working on. And the other thing is, you need a mantra. What's your 90-day mantra? You've got to sit down, decide what that's going to be, and that needs to fuel every decision that you make. And again, mine is intensity. We're about to fucking turn up the heat, and I'm excited about it. It actually gets me fired up thinking about it. It's not to fall into the trap of this mental masturbation by chanting this mantra, but applying that to the action. So you can find me on Instagram at the Tradesman Experience. Email is the Tradesman Experience at gmail.com. Website's the tradesmanexperience.com, and the YouTube channel is the Tradesman Experience. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Get out there, get shit done. Be proud to be a tradesman. See ya.